and another 89 more events. And we know that for this session of traditional games of ethnic minorities of Hebei, there are 1,200 and more players participating, among which 50% and more of them are majority groups. For example, the Mongolian ethnic group, the Manchu group, etc. According to your name, we can tell that you are also from a minority group, right? Yes, I'm from the Inner Mongolia area. I'm from the Mongolian group. My first name is 63. Actually, it was because I was born the year at the age when my grandfather was at the age of 63. Today, there are also events from your in the Mongolia area, right? From your ethnic group? Yes. For example, the wrestling and others, they are from the style of the Mongolia group. And today it's more about the activities from the Manchu ethnic group, like the Pro Ball. In some other ethnic groups, the Tibetan ethnic group and some other ethnic groups from the Guangxi Autonomous Region, like the Yajia. And also the Korean group, they also have their own events in sports. Now, in front of us on this field is the cuju games. About the composition, there are 4 balls, numbered from 1 to 4, and 2 in red and 2 in blue color. It means there are 2 groups competing with each other. And for the cuju game, it looks like the table ball, but it's bigger. You will use your feet to kick the ball. And there are lines in white color. There's a circle in the middle of the field. The 2 groups are ready to compete. Later, the referee So, sir, I think it's quite interesting. How will the game go, and what is the rule of the game? And now they are competing groups. Actually, you can also let 2 individuals to compete against each other. So one person controls 2 balls. The red team comes from the city of Shijiazhuang. They are wearing the jacket in red, so they hold the red balls. And you have to launch the ball from number 1 to number 4. The radius of the field, the radius is 2.4 meters. And to score, when you hit 1 ball of the opposite team, you can get 1 point. If you hit your own ball, then you would help the opposite team to gain 2 points. For every half of the match, when the score reaches 5, then it's the end of that session, and then they would exchange the position. And the blue team, they come from the city of Chengde. The red comes from Shijiazhuang. When the total score of the whole match reaches 100 on any side of these 2 groups, then it means that the whole match would end. So according to the rule of the game, it looks a little bit like the ice pots during the Winter Olympic Games. Yes, exactly. You have to keep calm during the whole game. Maybe it's not too demanding on energy, but this game is very strict on people's mind and also on the intelligence of each player. You should decide during the game which ball to hit and which one to avoid. And you are controlling for your own team the 2 balls that you have, and you would use your ball to hit the other team's ball. For example, this number 4 ball is in blue color. When you are kicking the ball, you should avoid that your number 4 ball would hit your number 2 ball, which is in the same color and it also belongs to your team. Now the red ball is hit. There are 4 points gained. Now when you succeed in hitting the ball of the other team, then you have a second chance to lance again, to kick again on the ball. If you hit both balls from the opposite team, then you get twice the opportunity to make the new kick. And if you can, by one single kick, touch the ball from the opposite team and even push the opposite team's ball outside this boundary, then you can, at each kick like this, you can gain 4 points for your own team. And at some circumstances, there is the dead ball, the ball in waiting. So for that ball, for a certain period of time, you should not touch it. It's like it's protected on an island. And after a period of time, you should think of some method to get that ball out from the safety island, and then you can have a chance to hit it. And you should think about the angle of the kicking. So now, you see the blue team has kicked one red ball out of the boundary, then he can gain another 4 points. And he made that twice, so together he's got 8 points once. If you attack and then you hit the target, this is an active attack and active scoring. If you made an error here, and then the opposite team would gain some points to their own side, and for the opposite team, it needs a passive scoring because it's due to your effort, due to your error. As I mentioned before, you could use one single kick to hit both targets of the other team. In that circumstance, after this kick, you could have another 2 chances to make 2 other new kicks, because it's like a bonus. Every time before you kick, you should calculate very precisely the angle and also how much energy you should put in your foot in order to kick the ball towards the target in the correct direction and to a correct degree. And now it's the turn of the number 1 player. This is a big field. The total size is 10 meters multiply 10 meters. In the middle, the safety aisle, the radius, the smaller one, the smallest one, the radius is 20 centimeters. That one is out beyond the boundary, so you give other points to the opposite side. If you can still hold that ball inside the boundary, then you could have a chance to add up to your own score. At the first glance, you may think it's not very demanding on your body status and also on your energy. It's more like on the side of your intelligence and also calculation. Sometimes we think it's impossible to hit the target by a distance of 14 meters. However, the player could succeed in that. And sometimes we think it's only 1 meter between your own team's ball and the target ball. However, it's also possible for the player to fail. We have 27 groups participating in today's games, so it's the largest number ever in the history of the organization. Now let's look at this kick. The situation is not so favorable to the red team now because they are lagging behind. Usually, we think that for the players in red, you should have an advance in score by 5 points at least. However, they are lagging behind the blue team. Maybe later they would have another chance to keep up with the score of the blue team. You should also know a specific strategy to put your ball inside the small circle. It's also what we call the safety aisle. And to this side is also the cuju games. This kind of field is not so big for a kind of game competition, so it's favorable and easy for our promotion of the games. And for the players, we need at least 4 players and 1 referee. And it's not a dangerous game. So, do you have the individual games, duo games? Just now you've seen the duo games, female duo games, and also male duo games. In total, we have 5 gold medals. We'll first make a list according to their ranking from 1st place to 8th place, and then we would give the gold medal, the silver medal, the bronze medal. So let's have a try to see whether it's so difficult to play with the cuju. We could find someone to play with you to be your opponent. Let's try. It's a distance of more than 1 meter. So my ball should be able to hit the target ball, the blue ball, and then I should also keep my red ball inside the boundary. So I could not hit the target, as you could see. What are things to mind when you are playing with it? You should lower your body so that you could put more force inside your toes. Just now, my movement is not very standard. This is an advantageous ball. Usually you would hit the ball within 3 meters of distance. Okay, I lower my body. Why I missed the target? It's never easy to play in the games, otherwise everyone could get a gold medal. Yes, exactly. It takes years of practice and experience. Just now we have shown you the cuju games, and the female duo games have just closed. The Hengshui team and the Qinhuangdao team have competed, and finally, the gold medal goes to the Hengshui team. It's very interesting to watch the game, but it's not so easy to play the game by yourselves. When would the game be most interesting to the audience? It's towards the ending of the game. You think that the game would just end with the winning of the advantageous team. However, they just lose at one last step in the very last kilometer. And sometimes it's also interesting to see another team lagging behind for a lot of balls, for so many scores, and finally they catch up with the other team and they win. And Mr. Liang, they are taking a rest. They are preparing for the upcoming game. They will play with a top. What's the difference between this pack top and the other ordinary top that we are playing with at our home? It's nearly the same ones. For the blue team, they should be able to get their top to that part of the field. From here, they should spin the top and to make it reach that point. If you could do that, it means you are quite capable of this spinning technique of the top. And you should also try to spin your top in order to hit the top of your contestants. Referee is here. Which are the two teams? They are competing for the gold medal. Qinhuangdao team against the team of Baojing. What is the status quo? So it's already half the game. Qinhuangdao is in advance. It's 25 against 15 points. Later is the second half of the game. It's quite a long distance. You should be very precise, and you should be able to aim at the target top. It's very demanding on the precision and also the strength of your body. Let's look at the top. Let's borrow one. It's much heavier than what we were playing with during our childhood. It's between 800 grams to 900 grams. And the rope has a length of 6 meters. We have a suspending area. The first group would first place their top on a certain area of the field, and then it's the turn of the second team to spin their top and try to hit the top of the first team. and then they will change the position, and then we will count the scores. There are 4 kinds of scoring. If you could spin your top and hit the target top to make the target top stop, then you could get 4 points. So the second half of the game is about to start. Let's have a look. Because the top is very heavy, and sometimes it's even quite risky for the players to break their arms. So the first group, they have placed the top in the field, so the top target is hit. However, the attacking party, the attacking team, they have also got their own top outside the field. So finally, he would only add up 1 point to their own score. And to twine the rope, the top is also no easy job. You have to prepare everything before the game starts, otherwise you would get a penalty. And again, the attacking team has made their own top outside the field beyond the boundary. When the first group is placing their top in the field, they could be inside the safety area. However, for the attacking team, they should stand outside the line of the safety area. And then you should wait to see which top could last for a longer duration. If the attacking party's top could continue to spin and wait to see the contestant team's top to stop at this point, it means the attacking party wins. It takes a long time for the top to spin, and there are 2 referees observing the tops. They are looking very carefully at the tops, and they should be in one single line so that they could observe the tops, both tops at the same time. In this case, the attacking team got 3 points added. Our top spinning game be dated back to 5,000 years BC. During our childhood, we have also played with this, but not with such a heavy top and in such an exciting atmosphere. And because it's during the games, so the conditions would be more strict and the task would be much heavier for the players to accomplish. For example, you should calculate the curve and also know how to manage the top. Usually before the participation in the game, they have to practice every day for long hours, and they have to have very strong body in order to hold that top. Okay, 4 points added to the blue team. They have kicked the top of the other side beyond the boundary while keeping their own top inside the boundary. It's very demanding on the body force and also on your sight. So in this case, 1 point added, yes. For the team of Qinhuangdao, they have won a lot of gold medals or silver medals during national competition. You could see there in their palms there are some protective measures because when you are rolling the rope, it's quite dangerous and it will hurt in your palm. That's another 4 points added to the team. Now the score of the two teams, it's 40 points against 15 points. And for the moment, the team of Qinhuangdao is in advance, and as I mentioned before, they have participated in a lot of similar national games, so they are quite experienced and they are calm. Usually you could hit the target top, but it's also no easy job for you to get high points because there are a lot of things to pay attention to. And the rope you were using to spin the top during the game is very long. The rope has a length of more than 5 to 6 meters. You have to time it circle after circle. And you have many circles around the top. That's why you could get the top to spin at a very high speed. For female players, it's at the length of 5 meters of rope, and for the males, 6 meters. Now it's time to exchange the position of the attacking part and the defensive part. Each participant is twining the rope around their own top. Let's have a look at the attacks by the red team. Well, this one is useless because he has totally missed the target. 0 points added for him. It's quite demanding for the player to do this kind of attack. A big challenge to their mental status. For how much time each match would last? You would ask one team one player after another to hit the target, and then you would exchange the position. In total, one complete match would last 40 minutes to 1 hour. If you go fast, we could end the whole match within 40 minutes. And it's quite hot today. And yesterday is even hotter. So if you need to accomplish the whole match within 40 minutes, it's a big challenge. So now you could see that the participants from the red team, they have missed for the third time the target top. Well, finally, he has very well hit the target and made the target stop. Sometimes you could see that when the target top has been kicked off the field, it still keeps spinning. Okay, it's missed. It's quite a pity. The team in red, the team from the city of Baoding, actually they are new to this game. In the morning, they have performed very well so that they have entered into the final. Maybe in front of the very experienced team from Qinhuangdao, the red team is a little bit nervous. I have a question for the team to place the top inside that small circle. If he has missed, what will be the result? And he has a second chance to place once again his top inside the circle. If he still missed circle, then it would be a useless action. Thank you, referee. We'd like to guide our audience to another team, to another game. So let's have a look at the 压架. That is also a very exciting game, and it's another name of the tug of war. We have different categories of the weight, from 50 kilograms, 60 kilograms to 90 kilograms. You have mentioned tug of war by elephants. What does it mean? We know that usually when we practice the tug of war, each team would hold one end of the rope. So I would like to explain to you. The participants would use the force of their neck to fight against the opposite team or the opposite person. It's also a long time game. Actually, the history of the tug of war in the elephant style is not very long. Usually in Tibetan Autonomous Region and Guangxi Autonomous Region, you could find people practicing this, but not so often here in Hebei province. Now the Yajia is about to begin. Later we would also invite one referee to give us more information. This is the chief referee. Nice to meet you. We're from CCTV. We'd like to give you an interview. Could you please tell us some information about this? Is it group game or individual game? This is the Yajia from the traditional games of ethnic minorities. It's a typical game from the Tibetan ethnic group. It's about to begin the game. What is the rule of the game? They will play 3 rounds, and you should win 2 rounds of the 3 in order to be the winner. The length is 9 meters, the width is 2 meters. And in the middle, there is a middle line. And they are fighting with each other. So it's a kind of tug of war, but at each end of the rope, there's only one person. So one person is a team already. And talking about the Tibetan tug of war, there are lots of kinds. This is one kind of the 3. In the elephant style, they have also the style of buffalo. And elephants is a symbol of happiness and good luck. So that's why it's very popular among the local people. They have tied each end of the rope to the neck of each player. How could you decide the result, the score of each player? You would see in the middle of the rope there's a mark. There's an object as a mark. We would see to which side the mark moves. If it has surpassed the white line in the middle and march towards one side, then that side wins for that round. So 2 rounds have finished. This is the last round, the decisive round of the game. Let's have a look. So that is a battle of force. And also your resistance. So it's moving forward and backward. And finally, we have the winner. The final decision to be made by the referee. Is it often to have the even game? Yes, it's quite often, especially for the team at a weight of 90 kilo up to 95 kilos. When we say that when it's an even result during 90 seconds, then the referee would call for a pause. And they would take a rest and come back to the field. This is also an action taken to ensure that each player, they are in very good health after the rest. Now they have exchanged their position. It's a very exciting game. It's a symbol of force too for the people from the Tibetan group and the Gaoshan ethnic group. And it's a very simple game to practice. You don't need a lot of facilities. Over there, you have a heavyweight, and here is lightweight. Now, it's quite an even result, and it's time to see the strategy applied by each side. And finally, the result has been reversed, and a reversion is a highlight of the game. Okay, just now we have watched a lightweight. Let's come to this side to see a heavyweight competition. Compared with the two previous players, now we have two heavier weight players in front of us, and it would be more interesting even for us to watch. Now they are at the weight of 85 kilos. And the highest would be above 95 kilos. Let's have a look. The person in white, look at his moves. He has raised a little bit the weight, the body weight, and it's not very good for the competition, and it's not good for your force. The referee is doing his job. He has to make sure that before the start of the game, he should make sure that the mark is exactly in the middle line. He's very happy because he won one session. It's very demanding on your absolute force. For your waist and for your legs, and the mass muscle groups will help you to win the battle. In the weightlifting and the boxing games, you see usually people will be classified into different weight groups, and it's the same in your tug of war. Yes. We have 7 categories. For example, above 95 kilos, at 90 kilos, 85, 80, etc. They have their own coach. This is a player from the Tangshan city, and he has a very professional coach. Look at his muscles. The atmosphere here is also very tense and very exciting, and the players are ready to compete. Now the game starts. The player in blue, his strategy is quite good, because first you should on the defense side, and you should try to grab an opportunity to reverse the result. You have to have a strong capability of resistance and you should wait for that correct moment to fight back. And now you could see that he's reversing the situation. So please hold on and continue to make efforts. And you should have to lower your weight, lower your body. For the white side, for the person in white, he has totally elevated. His body is not correct. Now the blue is reversing. That is the hardest moment. Wow, quite a pity. Finally, he didn't resist that strong power from a player in white. That was a very exciting competition just now, and people were cheering them up by the side of the road. Well, this kind of battle, and people are always enthusiastic about that. Also, during their daily practices and exercises, they can have a lot of people around to cheer them up. They always have an audience. So, what about the popularity of this game? Do we have a lot of people practicing this tug of war? Maybe it started by 2003 in the province of Hebei, and it starts to grow among the people. It has also received attention from different levels of authorities and government. Currently, at different levels of administration of the province, you could find people practicing this sport. And with the support of the government and some other authorities, I believe that this game would grow more and more popular among the people. As I can tell, you don't need a lot of facilities to practice the sport. Yes, so it means a very low cost for the practice. That's why it's favorable for the mass practices. Let's see another round of the tug of war. Let me check their weight. So they are still from the category of 85 kilos. The person in red comes from the city of Changzhou. In our country, Changzhou is an important city to advocate the traditional sports from ethnic minority groups. So this match is about to start. It's quite efficient. The player in white is in very evident advance. So how do we select the final winner? First, you have the pre's, the preliminary games. They will compete in groups. The winners would continue. And for the losers, they would have a second chance to compete. If they lose a game, then they would be kicked out from the games. That means if you could come to this stage of the game, you have already succeeded in a lot of preliminary competition. If you are in the place, I think you would enjoy a lot of game. Now we'd like to join another game. We have brought you to see the spinning of the top, the 压架, the cuju. What are the others? Maybe I could recommend you to see the stilt running from the Sichuan province. It's also a very interesting game. I've heard of the stilt in the past in Guizhou province in southern China for the ethnic group of Miao. When it is raining very heavily, people would stand on the stilt to walk in the water. In northern China, we also have the stilt, but usually it's tied up to your feet. But in the southern China, it's flexible stilt. The stilt running, it's when people are wearing the stilts and they are competing with each other in the run. It sounds quite interesting. Let's go and have a look. Actually, the traditional games of ethnic minorities are using the ordinary facilities, for example, the top that we have all played with during our childhood, and other things like the stilt to accomplish the game, to form the game. The yajia, or the tug of war that we have just watched a few minutes ago, it's also a daily practiced game among the Tibetan ethnic group. Now they are competing in an official game. Now we come to another competition field. Okay, over there is the stilt running. You've mentioned that for the players in this game, 50% or more of them come from ethnic groups. Yes, and we have a lot of minorities in our province. The city of Chengde from our province holds more than half of the total minority people of the whole province. You're also from the city of Chengde, right? Yes. Now we are at an athlete field. Let's first get to know something about the stilt running. These are the stilts, right? Yes. Let's have a look. It's made of bamboo, and attached to it a rest for your foot. It's not easy for an ordinary people to even to stand on that rest. And how would these players run with the stilt? Later, we could have a look. Maybe we could invite one participant to give us a demonstration. There's a foot rest. You would insert your foot inside. There you go, and you start to run. It's hard to strike a balance for an ordinary people. Yes. Over there, about to begin, is another game. It's the board shoes running. 3 people for each team. They have 1 pair of board for each team. The participants, they are warming up and doing some preparation. Later, we would see how they would run with the boards. For board shoes running, every 3 players would run together. Let's see their practices before the game starts. You should synchronize the actions of the 3 participants in one team, and they should collaborate one with another. For this kind of game, you have a distance. Yes, 100 meters, 200 meters, and on. You also have a relay. Yes. Later, let's have a look. Okay, Mr. Zhao Wei is our chief referee of this game. It's not so often for us to see this game. It's called the board shoes running, right? Exactly. Could you please give us an introduction? 3 people in a group. And you should be as quick as possible. And the time you spent on the running will decide whether you could win or not. And it's very demanding for the collaboration of the 3 people in one team. Yes, you are right. If one person goes wrong, and the whole team would be sacrificed. Some people, they are wearing the protective on their knees. It's also against the possible danger, the possible risks. And this is the final for the 100 meters female board shoes running. This must be a very interesting game to see. Yes, and it's about to start. For the board shoes running, it's a very popular already in the province. How many teams do you have? 8 in total. For the final, we have 8 teams. In the morning, we have had the preliminary. And according to their score, 8 top teams could participate in this afternoon's final. The match is about to start. So there are 4 teams in the front and 4 teams behind. The 4 teams behind, actually, they are waiting for the second round. Now the game starts. One team stopped. One problem with their collaboration. Finally, I think the team to the most left, they won. Actually, we should wait to see, because from our side, due to the angle of the view, you cannot tell the exact result of the game. most important thing is to synchronize the actions of all the three players. And it's no easy job during their daily practices. One person would shout, make the call for the other two members in the second round of groups for the final. They must have worked with the other team members for a long period of time. It depends on when they've received the notice to participate in the game. Currently, the team of Shijiazhuang and the team of Hengshui, they are in advance. Let's have a look. They are doing the last minute preparation before the beginning of their competition. Are they at the same level? They are nearly at the same level. The top 4 teams, they are here in front of us for the second round of competition. They are ready. The referee is about to call for the beginning of the game. A technical problem. So is it possible that we have one team rushes before the order of the referee? Yes, sometimes it happens. Later after this, we could have a 200 meters final for the stilt running. It must be the team of Hengshui, the winner. The way they are synchronizing their actions and the way they are collaborating with each other will decide whether they will be the winner or not. And now it comes to the male groups, also the final. I think that the male teams would have a better score. They would run faster than the females.
再看一下这场比赛的具体的这个情况。
Let's look at this match. And during the running, the two players in backwards in behind, they are holding the waist of the player in front of them.
好，在这个比赛的间隙啊，我们可以带大家进入另外一个比赛的这个项目。这个项目啊，我们看到上头有一个架子。
While waiting for the beginning of the male board shoes running, we would guide you to see another game. Another game to see is the swing. It comes from the Korean group, Korean ethnic group. And during the swing games, we only have female players. When we were still children, we have played with the swing. But this swing would be different, quite different. It has a height of 12 meters to 13 meters.
We 看到这个现场呢，有两个设置好的一个是秋千，另外一个好像这儿上头挂着有铜铃是吗？啊。
And you have bells attached to the strings of the swing.
现在这个秋千比赛应该是马上开始。哦，现在过来是我们的裁判长，裁判长你好，你好，好，我们中央电视台的记者，跟您做个简单的采访，给我们介绍一下这个秋千的这个相关的项目。
Nice to meet you. I'm from CCTV. It comes from the imperial court. And gradually it has grown to be a traditional game. We have two categories, above 55 kilos and under 55 kilos, since we don't have male players. You have to swim as high as possible. If you can swing to a very high place, high position, then and this pole has a height of 12 meters. And the maximum height you could reach with the swing is 11 meters. 11 meters is already the maximum, it's the extreme height. To watch this game is quite simple. Even you don't have the professional expertise about this game, you don't have basic knowledge, you could still tell who's the winner because you could see whether the height that they are going is enough. And you should also wear some protection measures in order to protect you. And the ropes, they are very soft and flexible with a length of 10 meters. You have to use your own body to overcome the constraints of the gravity. And when they start, it's very exciting for the audience to watch. They will attach one part of the rope to their hand, to their arms. Even though during the match your hand would slip away from the rope, then you still have something that's from the string attached to your hand. During the competition, you would mobilize all your muscles from your arm to your waist, to your leg, and it's also a big challenge to your resistance. Just now we have seen the team from the Zhangjiakou team, Zhangjiakou delegation, and now it's a team from the university. It's about to start. Well, it started. They have the preliminary swing, several times of the preliminary swings. Those are the actions for the preparation before hitting the target line. In the national competition, usually they would finish the preparation within 5 times of preliminary swing. And people are very enthusiastic about this game. In the whole country, there were a lot of games for the competition in the swing. They have 10 minutes. Now they have hit the bells for the first time, second time, third time, fourth time. You have to adjust the force you are using. It's very demanding for the body power of the players. In 10 minutes, it's very big cost of energy because after the preliminary swings, it becomes non-aerobic exercise. The referee is accounting for the total number of the hits on the bells. The two players should work closely one with another when there's an accident or when there's unexpected event. They should directly adjust their body. Usually the taller person, the taller player would be more powerful in their body force. And they are hitting very heavily on that bell. For how many times I've hit? 92 times during national games. If you could reach the level of 90 times of the hit, then you are already among the top players in the national games. And once again, as I mentioned before, it's very demanding for your body energy, and it's very exhausting. If you miss one swing, you didn't touch that line of fouls, it would also be recorded down as a miss of swing. Now we could see that they are feeling tired and they have to adjust their position and the force they are using in order to reach that line of fouls again. Now they are exhausted. Usually after the 30 or 40 times of hit on the bells, they would embrace the most difficult moments of the competition. If they could overcome that part, then they could come back to their competition status and they could once again start to touch the bells. And sometimes you think that it's easy to swing the swing. However, when you look at this, you know that it's quite demanding on your body condition and your strengths. We know that they are exhausted. They are feeling tired. In this case, we think they nearly lose the game, but they are still holding on. They are not giving up. That's the spirit of athleticism. For any game, it's no easy job, even for the swim. It costs a lot of energy. So thank you, Chief Referee. We would like to move to another game. Talking about the swing, it's for recreation, for entertainment, but it's not really so when you have watched that. We have just now observed the board shoes running the swing, the top, the yajia, and the cuju. So many of them. Almost half of the games during the traditional games of ethnic minorities of Hebei. And over there is the ongoing stilt running. Different from the stilts in northern China, they are holding the stilts in their own hands. Because in northern China, usually the stilts would be tied to your feet. And it's not so. In these games, the player has to hold the stilt in their hands. And for each game, it costs years of practice. If in these days you have time, please don't hesitate to come to Changzhou of Hebei province to watch the game in the field. And until now, that's the end of this program and of my reports, and thank you for your attention and your support to the traditional games.